Before you sign up for another diet, another challenge, or another plan that tells you exactly what to do, I want to offer you something different. In this episode, I'm unpacking why structure feels so safe when you're overwhelmed, why it never actually lasts, and how to start creating a lifestyle that supports your body, your energy, and your nervous system. For real this time. Let's get into it. Have you ever said, if someone would just tell me exactly what to do, I'd do it? I hear this all the time, and to be honest, I used to say this as well. And if that's where you're at right now, this episode is for you because I get it. When you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and uncomfortable in your body, the promise of a perfectly structured diet or program feels like safety. Clear rules, no second guessing, and finally someone just handing you the answer. But here's the truth I want to offer you today. That kind of safety is actually just control. And control is not the same as peace. And it's not the same as freedom. And it's definitely not the same as sustainable, which those are the things that you actually want. Your nervous system is designed to keep you safe. And when your world feels chaotic, like your schedule, can we all say Maycember when we are asked to do a million things that we didn't sign up for, and all of a sudden our schedule is inundated? I can say I am feeling the busyness of May right now as school is wrapping up. Mother's Day is likely just finished when you listen to this episode. We in our house have a lot of birthdays in May, and it just feels like a lot. And also, we have the excitement of summer coming. And so it's like our nervous system is just ramped up for the entire month. And so this likely is leading you to feel chaotic in your schedule, your energy. And if you have a weight loss goal or you're working on something specific with your body and maybe your stress, it makes total sense that you might be grasping for something very solid to hold on to. And if you're not right now, know that that might be on the other end when life starts to slow down and you realize that now maybe you feel deeply uncomfortable in your body because of the increasing stress that you had went through the previous few weeks. And why is it so easy to go get a strict plan? So when I talk about strict plans, think about diets that you've done in the past, like diets that are like, do this, don't do that, follow this exactly the way it is. There's no room for feelings. There's no room for emotions. There's no room for experiences. It's just do this. And in the beginning, strict plans actually make us feel safe because they say, do this. You don't have to think. You don't have to feel. You get to just follow it as is, right? Never eat past 7, do 6 workouts a week or it won't work. And it's a really focus on perfectionism. And while, yeah, it might give you short-term results, it's not actually teaching you how to live. In fact, it's often going to disconnect you even further from your body and the wisdom and how your body speaks to you. And it likely starts with you feeling very motivated because you have not only curiosity on the horizon, which curiosity can be very motivating. Your brain loves to find answers. And so it wants to find answer of, does this work for me? Am I going to feel better? And you also have some excitement as well. And you definitely have a feeling of fear in your body. I can't feel this way. This feeling this way is horrible. I've done something very bad. And so it will lead you into finding something very, very strict and very structured. And you feel motivated about that. But what starts out as motivation is going to quickly move into burnout. And what feels like discipline and looks like discipline in the beginning is actually turning into a deeper restriction in your life. And what you hoped that it would make you feel better, which it does in the beginning. And so then we make it seem like this is a plan that works, but I'm the problem. And then you feel like a failure again. And it's not because you didn't try hard enough. It's not because you weren't disciplined enough or motivated or that something's inherently wrong with you. It's because you were following a plan that's not built for your life, your hormones, your nervous system. But ultimately, it's not a plan on how you want to actually live your life as a healthy person. That's what you want. It's not that you need to fit yourself into a box with a lot of standards and strictness, right? So like you go into it, think about a box. In the box, you don't get to move freely, right? You're going to hit a lot of edges. There's a lot of corners in there, but you don't get to go anywhere outside of the box. And when you put yourself into that box, it's very restrictive. And we can only be restrictive for so long because we as humans only have so much capacity for that type of discipline. Discipline is a non-renewable resource. We don't just get to wake up every day fresh with discipline. We actually run out of discipline. And so when you put yourself into a box, you're asking yourself to have discipline every single day for the rest of your life. And that's not going to happen. And then when we're in this very strict plan, we expect the scale to move every single week. We expect to see a result every single week. And when that doesn't happen, now we think that we have done something wrong. When in fact, this just is not the right expectation from this sort of plan. We think I wasn't perfect enough. I didn't try hard enough. There's something wrong with me. But the way you live your life day in and day out, if that's how you want to live your life, if that makes sense for you as the healthiest version of you, that's the win that you're actually going for. And that's where sustainable health and weight loss actually begins. So before you jump into some sort of challenge and sort of cleanse or starting Monday type of moment, or maybe it's June 2nd or whatever the first Monday is in June, I want you to ask yourself, how do I actually want to feel in my body on an ordinary Tuesday? Nothing magic has happened recently. It's just a plain old Tuesday like today, right? Just getting up, going to work, doing the things. How do I want to feel in my body? What kind of woman am I actually becoming? What patterns am I tired of repeating? Starting and stopping, restricting and binging, losing my shit and then feeling bad, being perfect and then feeling guilty. And what would it feel like to stop swinging in between extremes and just be steady? Just create a healthy life that makes sense for you. Most women don't actually want a set of rules. They want a lifestyle that feels like theirs and it makes sense for them. One that their body feels calm in each day, or they know how to find their calm. One where food isn't stressful anymore. Healthy food is just a natural part of your life. And you get to become a normal eater according to your standards, which means you don't over-restrict on Mondays and Tuesdays and sometimes Wednesdays. And then by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all bets are off. You're going out to eat. You're doing anything quick and easy, or you're skipping meals entirely. How about one where you see how productive rest actually is? Rest is a part of who you are. Rest is welcome. And you don't feel guilty or that you've done something wrong or you're not trying hard enough when you actually rest. What if rest, true restorative, healthy rest, was a natural part of your life? Where the work adds to your life instead of taking over it. Where the things that you do day in and day out to become that healthier version of you brings more energy to you, adds more life to you, instead of just another thing to do. That all starts with you defining how you want to live and why. So if you've been stuck in this cycle for a while, you may not feel safe in your body at all right now. But safety doesn't come from control, right? When we notice that maybe our nervous system is activated, and this can come from feelings of tenseness in your body. You can feel very reactive. So that means that you're uncomfortable. So you just grab some chocolate, or you sit there and you swear at your email box, or you're driving and you swear at other people. You become very impatient. You maybe yell at your family. You feel like you're just out of control in your body, even though on the outside it might seem like you look like you're in control, but you know that you're deeply uncomfortable because your nervous system is activated. And sometimes this can look like feeling like addicted to exercise. You have to exercise or you feel deeply out of control in your body. And sometimes it's feeling exhausted all the time and you can't do the things that you want to do, right? These are all nervous system signs that there's some dysregulation there. And remember, whenever I'm talking about some sort of dysregulation or an imbalance, it's not that anything is inherently wrong with you. It's that your body's adapting to your environment and is trying to tell you something and it wants you to listen. And I'm just helping you listen to your body and to understand what it's telling you. And when you can understand what it's telling you, now you get to solve for that. Now you get to understand it deeper. And instead of being the victim to your body's symptoms and communication, now you become empowered to the communication that your body is telling you. So if you've been stuck in this for a while and you're just a chronic dieter and you're just always starting fresh on Monday, or you can't actually remember the last time you weren't trying to lose weight, you probably don't really feel safe in your body right now. You probably don't trust yourself. You probably feel like you're a failure. You probably have all of that nonsense going on in your mind. But safety doesn't actually come from controlling your actions. It just comes from consistency. And it's not consistency on doing everything right. It's consistency on maybe doing one or two things right. In my program, Mindfully Well, we actually, once you come into the program, we choose one thing for you to focus on in the first 30 days. Because how many times have you maybe joined a program or tried to change your body by doing a diet, whatever it is, right? You go in, you go all in. All of a sudden you start working out 6 days a week. You're eating only kale and chicken and drinking only water and you name it, right? You just check off the list, all of them. And you become exhausted very quickly. Well, in Mindfully Well, we focus on one thing for 30 days and we decide what that one thing is. And within 30 days, you've actually made remarkable change by focusing on one thing. Because the truth is that there's this 20-80 rule, and you can apply this to anything in your life, but 20% of your effort creates 80% of your results. That means you don't need to focus on everything to make great results. You don't need to be 100% at anything. You can actually give 20% effort on something that's really important to you and really moves that needle for you and makes everything in your life easier, or something you don't even have to worry about. Right? So a lot of my clients will want to come in and they'll run and focus on their nutrition. So we focus on pre-tracking your foods for 30 days in MyFitnessPal. And what this does is this creates the habit of thinking about your foods ahead of time. Because when you do this, you're using the part of your mind that makes decisions that helps you reach your goal. It also taps into the part of your mind that is very reactive and is coming from your nervous system. And so you can start to realize, how many times am I choosing foods or choosing to eat at different times of the day, or quality of foods, quantity of foods, based on my nervous system. And you get to see and listen to what your body's telling you. So not only do you, just by pre-tracking your foods, do you get to make a plan that makes sense for you, but you also get to tap into understanding your body. And now you're going to feel much safer in your body because you're giving your body high quality foods in the right amounts at the right times of day. And now your body's starting to respond. And then it makes the other things easier. You start to sleep better. You sleep throughout the night. You don't wake up tired. When you're not waking up tired, you get up to do your workout. When you get up to do your workout, you feel calmer in your body and you feel more focused for the day. You follow through on your food plan and you just naturally feel better in your body. Your nervous system isn't activated all day long from nourishment, from reactive eating, right? You are really in control over you when you do that for 30 days, right? So do you see how maybe in the past you tried to go all in on all the things, you get exhausted and you deem yourself as a failure? All you need to do is focus on one thing that would make the most impact for you. So how do you create consistency? Like I said, you can do focusing on that 20% equals 80% of your results. Other things, think about nourishing instead of restricting your body. When you nourish your body with the right kinds of foods, the right amounts of foods at the right kind of day, you're nourishing your body, and that there's never a problem with that. That's always optimal, right? When you're restricting, that always comes with side effects and circumstances and symptoms and a result that you probably don't want. We need to focus on nourishment instead of restriction. Restriction is never going to get you to where you want to be. As much as we think that's how it's supposed to be, is that we have to restrict in order to get to where we want to go. And that's not true. How about moving to create energy, not to burn off calories? When you think about moving to burn off calories, you are expending energy. You are hoping to use energy, which means you have less energy in your body. And we want to create energy. And how you can actually just shift this is by your thinking of when you're moving your body. Because the truth is, a body in motion stays in motion, and that is the creator of energy. Right? Think about physics. Think about like a car going up a hill and then down, and then it naturally goes down the hill much easier without a lot of fuel. That's how we want to think about exercise. We're creating energy. We're not depleting our energy. Eating meals that stabilize your blood sugar. So we're thinking proteins, fats, and fibers, and carbohydrates. We don't want to cut anything out, but we're eating foods in their whole form. And this sends the information to your body that you have access to the foods you need, access to the foods that are best for you, and support your hormonal balance as well, which then leads to insulin sensitivity. It leads to energy. It leads to then cortisol balances and then estrogen, and like all of them. Everybody just becomes happier. And then how about giving your body space to recover and to rest, and to know that rest is never bad. You're never lazy because you're resting. You're not wasting time because you're resting. You're being productive when you rest. And then overall, you're learning to trust yourself again, because ultimately you are in control. But when we follow a diet or a very strict program or protocol, we are giving all of our control to that thing. And that's not what you want. That's not how you want to live the rest of your life. You want to live the rest of your life by being fully in control and trusting yourself. When your nervous system feels safe, your body stops fighting you because it's trying to get your attention and you're not listening. And so eventually it will become louder and louder and louder. And it feels like it's fighting you, but it's just screaming for you to actually listen. When you create that safety and your body doesn't have to scream at you anymore, now it begins to heal because you're listening to it. And this is where everything shifts. So something that I just this past week, actually, because Mindfully Well was open for enrollment, and now I have a lot of new clients in the program. And then also for the clients that were already in the program, it's a great time to reset and to really focus on what are we doing? Why are we doing it? And so at the end of our training, which was very similar to today's podcast, I invited them to create an anchor phrase that you can always come back to, and it really brings you grounded and feeling very centered. And so here's a few that you can borrow or adapt. And I encourage you to put this somewhere where you see it often. Maybe you put it on your mirror in your bathroom. Maybe you put it in your car on the dashboard. Maybe you put it as the iPhone wallpaper. But you want to remind yourself about this every single day because it's very easy to become distracted. It's very easy to turn into distrust and thinking it's not working. But in reality, we haven't actually decided what is working, what would be ideal for working. And let's define what working actually is. So here are some phrases you can use. I nourish to feel steady and strong. I move to create energy and ease. I rest because I'm worth protecting. Food will never harm me. It only creates safety. You can use any of those, or you can go online and search for anything around the topic. And I'm sure Google or Pinterest or ChatGPT will bring you some more ideas. And I'd love to hear what you have come from this episode with what is your phrase. Come to Instagram. It's at Melissa_Eich, EICH, and let me know what your phrase is, because I would love to hear it. When you tell somebody else that, you actually, you become a little bit vulnerable with that. And whenever you're vulnerable, you allow yourself to grow from it. And it also holds you to a different level of accountability when you've told somebody else what your intention is and how you want to live your life. Now your brain is is going to be more apt to remind you about this. And especially then when you see me online again, or you see a reel or a story or something like that, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I said that thing. Let's go back to that thing and remind myself again. And if it's not me, then tell somebody else. Tell your best friend, tell your husband or your significant other. Tell somebody that is a trustworthy person for you that can hold that space for you. So if this episode resonated, you're probably not looking for another diet. You're looking for a way to finally feel good in your body without starting over again and again. And that starts with how you define the life you want to live. And then day by day, you practice stepping into it because your body isn't broken. It's just trying to protect you. And now is the time to work with it. So if you're curious about what it could look like to stop fighting your body and start supporting it, I'd love to invite you into my world. You can head to the show notes and you can schedule a breakthrough session with me. I'll send you a health history form. I'll review your health history and what I think is going on. And then I'll direct you in the right way on how you can work with me after that. So if you're ready, head to the show notes and you can click that link. Thanks for listening, my friends. I will see you next week.